who you want to send.
10-4, my MDT is down. I'll get it handled.
Oh boy, we are live.
County 1, Sam 10. Where's the 44 at?
Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Julianne, can you help me out real quick here? Make sure we're going live on this. Pull it up on YouTube and see if it's working.
10-4. We'll have
hello, testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me now? Can you see me now? Let me know.
3520, parking at
We're working the Rice's fire here in Nevada County, a fire that is estimated at 350 acres presently. Let me turn down the broadcast radio, the fire radio here. And here's a live look at the fire from the wildfire cameras located here in Northern California. Turn this guy down. So we've had a very heavy initial attack on this fire using large air tankers, kind of an unprecedented initial attack. And we've got another initial attack. We've got some additional heavy air tanker activity going on right now with tanker 914, the KC-10 air tanker out of McClellan Air Force Base. Here's tanker 93, that's our local S2, and we've got Air Attack 505, which is our lead plane. He's being used as a low-level lead plane, able to lead these tankers in on the drop. Let's hear what they're saying. 350 acres. Is it working, Julianne? Go on there onto my channel and look for live feeds and see if it's working. Let's go over there and see if I can find it over here.
Copy 2312 on
that's all like the kids stuff. All right, so at 350 acres, this fire is located with mandatory evacuations right down here in the Yuba River area of Nevada County near Bridgeport, California. Here's the South Fork of the Yuba River. Here's the main Yuba River coming out of Bullard's Bar Reservoir. Mandatory evacuations through French Corral, Sweetland. No, that's not it. No, go to YouTube. That's Facebook, I think. Birchville, Sweetland, and then recommended evacuations all the way up and beyond Highway 49, approaching towards North San Juan. So what the air attack has been able to do so far is hit the head of the fire with a heavy initial attack, dropping retardant across the head of the fire, and really knocked the steam out of the head of the fire and slowed the forward progress of this fire. We've got normal westerly winds, what we call the delta breeze out here. Here's the KC-10 air tanker in a left-hand orbit. Now, this camera refreshes every couple of seconds. It's not a continuous rolling video camera. It's a series of still shots. Here's the KC-10 coming around now. So the normal typical westerly winds are what's driving this fire. It's driving it uphill, upstream a bit. And the S2s have been, the smaller S2 air tankers have been helping out by dumping loads across the head of the fire as well. Okay. We've got some new cameras up at our airport now. Here you can see the fire going on. Well, let me get out of the way here. Transition there. Now you can see the fire up here. Up here on the airport view. That's the airport camera looking west. If we go airport camera view looking east, we can see the air tanker base, and we can see the two tankers operating out of here.
41, did you copy CNA 23 had a large spot behind the dozers?
Got some spot fires going on. These boys are going to keep going. Air Attack 230, who did the initial attack on this fire, is now already out for fuel. This fire broke out at 2 o'clock. That was 2 hours and 42 minutes ago. So Air Attack 230 is getting the fuel. Here comes one of our S2 air tankers departing the pattern right now. I'm departing the airport right now. Let's switch over to that other camera. See if we can pick him up as he goes by. This is pretty cool. New technology at Nevada County Airport.
County 106, I'm out of the staging area.
Is it live? Is it live? They must be out of sync. Bummer. There he goes. So we'll be hanging a right-hand turn, climb to about 3,500 feet is all. The airport elevation here is 3,000 feet, and heading over to the Rice's Fire just a few miles away. Back to the east view, more fuel for the tankers heading up there. And now let's go back to Flight Radar 24 and pick them up. Okay, Tanker 9-3 is in the pattern to land. We just heard him overfly the house. By the way, Blanco Lirio Global Headquarters is located right around here, so we can hear the tankers when they're in the left downwind for the pattern. Here's Tanker 8-8, just departed. We saw him depart on the airport camera there, and he's headed straight over to the fire here now. Looks like Tanker 914 is heading in, either just did a drop. There he is there. This is just amazing new technology that allows us to watch all of this in real time. There's the lead plane leading Tanker 914, and we've got numerous helicopters in the area as well. And basically the air attack and all the retardant is, again, to knock out the head of the fire right up here, to slow its forward progress, to minimize its effort to head towards populated areas downwind from this. There's the tanker now.
What was that traffic for the ICP?
It sounds like they're getting their dozer lines in there. Again, air attack is all there just to support the ground troops, to give the ground troops enough time to get a proper retardant or proper lines drawn around, dug around the fire. Back to Flight Radar.
1/10, 1/7.
Tanker 914 still following air attack 505, or the lead plane 505. Tanker 132, the Colson C-130, he's going to fall in behind. So this is the second round, at least the second round of heavy air tanker use on this fire. These tankers, as you can see, have been coming out of McClellan Air Force Base, California, because our airport here, Grass Valley, is just too small for the heavy air tankers to use. Let's go back to the wildfire camera. Let's see if that's working. Let's see here. We'll see if we can pick up the C-130. Let's see. Kellen's on the line there. Yep.
Additional response.
On it.
Fire, North San Juan.
Okay, now let's go check and see what's cooking here.
Response vegetation fire for strike team 9270 Charlie. Units form up with strike team leader station 20.
Battalion 32.
A different wildfire possibly breaking out. This fire here, the Rice's Fire, started out as a structure fire and then spread off into the brush.
52, engine 2762, engine 2781, engine 2772.
You're right, it does not seem to be going. All right, so we're going to cut this off for now. And I posted some more links on my Facebook page regarding this fire. Thanks so much for your support. We'll see you here. Okay, let's try this out. Try it again. Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me now? Can you see me now? Are we going out live on this live stream? And cutting over now to the Rice's Fire here in Nevada County. Now, Julianne, try it again on the YouTube here and see if you can pull it up and see if we are going out live. We got a 350-acre wildfire here in Nevada County in the Yuba River area near Bridgeport, California. We've had an extraordinary initial attack using large air tankers. right now the Coulson C-130 air tanker should be dropping on this fire. We're looking at the Bar Ranch 2 camera
You're at the Station 10 shop.
at an almost live shot of this fire, and I believe that's the Coulson C-130, and it takes a snapshot every couple of seconds, so we're watching live fire action from this camera. Julian, can you get me a cup of water, please? This fire started at 2 o'clock this afternoon. It is now 4:49 local time. It started as a structure fire. Down here on the left would be the heel of the fire where it started. We're looking at the right flank of the fire here, and up at the top it would be the head of the fire, and the left flank of the fire would be on the far side of us that we cannot see from this camera view. Here is one of the KC-10 air tankers, I believe, in the pattern to make a drop right here. And so far, this unprecedented initial, not since the fire down the Bear River the other year, this unprecedented initial attack of using large air tankers plus the S2s have really dropped a lot of retardant across the head of the fire right here, and has really knocked the steam out of the head of that fire. I believe this is the Coulson C-130 aircraft coming up on the left pattern now. Let's go back to the Flight Radar 24, and it's all this amazing technology. Yeah, there he is right there. There's the lead plane. There's the C-130. This camera is looking that direction. There he is, the Coulson C-130. So the Coulson C-130 is going to fall in behind the Air Attack 505 lead plane. That's the Cal Fire Bronco lead plane, and we'll take him in for the drop. So we'll stick with this camera view right now and see how this plays out, but I think he's going to bring them around. What they've been doing is bringing them around in a left-hand pattern and then dropping in a left-hand turn across the head of this fire. And they've been talking about some spotting beyond a dozer line on this head, and that might be it right there. So let's stick with this view for now and see if we can see how this plays out. See, there's the 130 in the left base. Julian, is there, can you get on there and answer any questions people have? Because I don't have a third screen here. I got to have my OBS screen, my main screen, and I don't have a third screen to watch the live feed. Okay, he still hasn't moved forward on the view of this fire. You got to turn the volume down on that one, Julianne, and check the comments there. Oh, look at this. He's way down here now. Yeah, the wind conditions right now are not that strong. We've got your typical westerly wind, what we call the Delta breeze. So it's not a strong wind-driven fire, which is why I believe that they will get this thing knocked out by this evening. Any more questions on there, Julianne? Okay, it's fairly close. If you look, I'll show you another view. Well, let's just go over there and look right now. Let's see, from our house, it's pretty far away. It's not a factor for us. Here's the fire evacuation area of French Corral and Sweetland, Grass Valley. Rough and Ready's here, Grass Valley, Nevada City area is over here. So it's working up this Yuba River Canyon area. So it's not threatening Grass Valley or Nevada City. It has the potential to threaten North San Juan. And that's a good 8 or 10 miles away from us here. To the Bridgeport Bridge, I think it's downwind of the Bridgeport Bridge at this point. The Bridgeport Bridge is located, well, let's see, where is it? No, not Lee Vining. No, we're talking Nevada County, California, not Bridgeport, California, not Bridge. Good point. Not that Bridgeport, California. This little tiny Bridgeport here on the Yuba River. It's nothing more than a bridge, literally. Yeah, it is not in Eastern California. This is Nevada County, California.
Do the planes during the drop come in based on wind direction, or is it terrain more critical in terms of what direction they approach the fire?
Okay, come on over here, Julianne, and ask that again. Here's the microphone. You have to clear your throat.
Do the planes during the drop come in based on wind direction, or is it terrain more critical in terms of what direction they approach the fire to drop?
Excellent question. You always got to drop downwind. Downhill. Preferably into the wind on a downhill drop. So terrain is primary. You can never, ever drop uphill. You always have to drop downhill. In the event you lose an engine, you got to be able to continue to go downhill. In the event of any kind of a performance problem, you cannot outrun the terrain if you're running uphill. So it's always downhill first, and then preferably into the wind next. Though you can do downwind drops, it's not preferred. So if they're cutting across the head of it, and the other thing they got to have is good visibility. You got to have good visibility underneath the fire, and so they can cut across the head of this fire right now really well. It looks like they're dropping some more retardant right down here on the right flank of this fire. So initially with this fire, they were hitting the head of it just to try to slow it down, and then they're going to start trying to box this fire in, starting from the heel and then working their way around the flanks to try to box the fire in with retardant, allowing the ground troops enough time to dig a proper fire line around the fire and get it contained. Well, let's go over here to this was originally a structure fire which escaped into the grass, so it does not appear to be a power line fire. And let's see if I can find Ubanet. Okay, this has been updated to 260 acres, 100 personnel, 0% containment. Only one structure, the structure that started the fire, has been destroyed. So it's not a lot of structures threatened at this time. What was the other question? What if they don't get it out tonight? That's going to be a big problem. If this goes into extended attack beyond 24 hours, now you got a big fire potentially threatening the community of North San Juan. But right now, based on the conditions and the time of year, I'm pretty confident they'll get this done by tonight. It's 5 p.m. Things are going to start slowing down. These winds are going to start winding down here very soon. Fire acreage is estimated currently at 350 acres. Let's go back to Flight Aware and see what's going on with the air show here. Looks like the 130 is already headed back. Tanker 137. Look at that. A Coulson C is 737. Wow. And they're coming out of McClellan as well. Somebody come up probably all the way out of Fresno. Wow. Yes. Anybody can join me on these links. It's a live feed. I just threw this live feed up here. I do not have the links, but if you type in wildland fires, there it is, alertwildfire.org, then you got to get on the map and tap the correct button and find the correct location. And we're looking at the Bar Ranch 2 camera on the alertwildfire.org. And this is amazing new technology, all of this stuff. This started out as a student project and has now become a vital resource for wildland firefighting here in Northern California. These cameras are spread out all through the urban wildland interface area here in Northern California, providing excellent data and effectively replacing the old fire lookouts. Okay, thanks.
Partial team ready for tasking whenever you're ready.
What's on scene? Firefox? Firehawks. Oh yeah, lots of helicopters, lots of helos on scene. This, I believe, is a camera ship. That's the King Air camera ship, which gives you with all the infrared and mapping technology you need to help fight the fire, and that gets it downloaded in real time. There's our Air Attack 505 doing the lead planing. He's going to have to spend a few hours tonight unwinding to the right as he spins nothing but left-hand circles. He's leading 737 in right now. Let's go see if we can see the 737 making a drop on the fire.
266.5 is the bearing, 8 miles.
If you're just joining us, we're doing a live feed on the Rice's fire here in Nevada County. It's about probably 15, 20 miles away from Blanco Lirio headquarters in the Yuba River Canyon area near North San Juan, California. Only one structure destroyed, the structure that started the fire. Don't have any word on any other structures, and it's pretty lightly populated in this area. This fire is just coming up out of the canyon, and firefighters are trying to keep it in the canyon and not let it, expand.
He's going to have 1 Pal 6, 1 Pal 4.
Who pays for all this? Me and you. There's never enough money to prevent the fire, but there's always enough emergency money to try to put the fire out. Now somebody's messing with, that's not me messing with the camera. Somebody else is messing with the wildfire camera here, which is too bad because we wanted to see the 737 drop if we could. They need to zoom that thing back out.
No, thank you.
We're also listening to the Nevada County Public West radio feed. Yeah, that's a great question. The amount of aerial resources right now, this is unprecedented fire aviation history we're watching right now. This level of initial attack on this size of a fire, I have not yet seen. We did see it a little bit last year on the Bear River fire, not too far from here. But that was later on in the season when things were really getting out of hand. This is early in the season. They are throwing the kitchen sink at this fire as far as air resources. I know it doesn't look like a lot of it right now, but we're getting 737s, C-130s, KC-10s. Here comes Neptune, Tanker 1-5 with their BAE-146. So, along with all of our S2s, 4 of our S2s coming out of, 2 of our 2 S2s out of Grass Valley, and then 2 more, I believe, out of Chico, plus the helicopters. So we should be hearing Tanker 88 flying right overhead here shortly. Let's see if they fixed that camera yet. Okay, they did. And there is, somebody's still messing with that camera, darn it. Meanwhile, back at the airport, we got some great new technology here. We've got, look at that, there's one of the helicopters just showed up. Here comes the tanker. He just landed on Tanker 7, one of the S2Ts. There you can see, let me get me out of the way here. You can see the fire right there in the right-hand corner of the screen in the distance. That's how far away the Rice's fire is from Nevada County Airport and the Blanco Lirio global headquarters. And if we get to the camera off to the east, where we can see the air attack base, here come the helicopters in for refuel. Look at that. We just did that helicopter update today here on the channel. And Air Attack 230 has already timed out for fuel, and these guys are loading and returning up here at the Grass Valley Air Attack base. Lake Mead, we did do that flyover on Facebook. I posted some pictures. We flew over in the 777 and got a couple shots of Lake Mead, but I haven't been doing regular updates on that, and I need to start adding that into the mix here. Is the flyover from Lake Mead. Well, let me see if I can just show you here on Facebook what it really looks like.
Tanker 93, Grass Valley copies report. 1702, can you confirm front size?
Oh, it's directionally from us north and a little bit to the west, northwest. Yep, Southern California. Somebody was asking about Lake Mead. Stand by for your Lake Mead update. There it is. There's your Lake Mead update. Asking you shall receive here on the Blanco Lirio channel. This was shot just yesterday from about 34,000 feet on the 777 coming into Los Angeles. And there is Hoover Dam, and there is the water downspouts, if you will, looking high and dry. They're with apparently very close to not being able to move any water, or getting close to dead pool level for the Lake Mead reservoir, and also getting very close to no longer being able to produce any electricity out of there. So yeah, I need to do more follow-up on Lake Mead. Go ahead, Julianne.
At least ND10 and KMCC over the weekend. Raul windows a couple times. We're working another fire.
The DC-10, yeah, and he's here out of McClellan. KMCC MD10, yep, that's the, yep, he's here today. We got here. Okay, they're dropping the Neptune tanker 1.5 right now, and the other tankers are heading back for more retardant or more fuel. So they're trying to zoom in and get some of that. Some pretty good flame lengths now for this time of year. Yes, I did hear about that tragic Huey crash. That was the Huey that was giving a lot of rides. I have no idea what happened there yet. Preliminary reports to me indicate a mechanical problem, but I have no idea. We have no data on that crash at this time. Say again? The winds, the current winds, well, you know, that's look outside. I should, let's see, let's do this. Let me pull that up for you. Stand by. I'll get you the actual. The winds are not that bad. They're pretty light right now. Let me see if I can get the AWAS here at Nevada County going. Stand by. AWO. That's not it. KGO. Okay. The winds are not that bad. We're calling the AWAS at Nevada County Airport to get the winds at the airport.
3 Celsius. Dew point -4 Celsius.
Can you hear that?
0 1 0. Density altitude 580.
It's warm out. 5,800 foot density altitude. Here the winds will come up next on the recording.
Airport. Automated weather observation. 0 0 0 5 Zulu. Wind 230 at 8 knots. Visibility more than 1 0.
230 at 8 knots there at Nevada County, and that's just your typical westerly afternoon breeze here. So it's not an excessively wind-driven event fire, and that's why I think they'll be able to get this fire by the end of today. Grass Valley Air Attack Base is at the Nevada County Airport, Kilo Golf Oscar, right near Blanco Lario headquarters here. They call it Loma Rica Airport because of the Loma Rica Ranch, not to be confused with Loma Rica, California, which is a few miles away down towards Brownsville. Okay, yeah, if you're just joining us, we are covering the Rice's fire. There is mandatory evacuations. It is in the Yuba River area near the little spot they call Bridgeport. It's not Bridgeport, California in the eastern Sierras. This is Bridgeport, the bridge, the covered bridge in Nevada County on the South Fork of the Yuba River. So it's between the South Fork and the main fork of the Yuba River, below Bullard's Bar Reservoir. And it's in the French Corral, or it's heading towards the French Corral area along Pleasant Valley Road. Correct, Pleasant Valley Road. So mandatory evacuations for French Corral and Birchville, approaching Sweetland and Highway 49. But the fire itself is still located down here. So it's in Nevada County, in the northwestern portion of Nevada County, a good 15 or 20 miles away from, well, no, closer than that, 10 or so miles from Grass Valley, Nevada City area.
How do you get the Flyover page that shows just the fire bombers?
Well, it's not just the fire bombers. The question was, how do I see just the fire bombers on the FlightAware page? I see all the airplanes. I'm just zoomed into the fire location. If I zoom out, there's everybody. So I haven't figured out how to filter out other aircraft. Let's see, tanker 88 looks like a load and return. Tanker 93 is coming on back already. Oh, wait a second. We got something else going on here. Wait a second. So here's our fire in the Bridgeport area. Now they're working another fire up here in just north of Collins Lake, it looks like. So we had a fairly wet spring this spring, but we've been in quite a drought situation for the last few years. For example, Oroville Reservoir is at, what did we say, around 770 feet out of 900 feet and already headed downhill, the water level's already decreasing at Oroville. So we are in a long drought period here in Northern California, and the trees and the vegetation are extremely stressed. But we did have a fairly wet spring. We had a very dry January and February this year. This fire, yeah, again, if you're just joining us, this is the Rice's fire in Nevada County. This fire started as a structure fire off to our left here, and that so far is the only structure that has been lost in this fire. And at this point, this is a very sparsely populated area, and I don't think there are any other structures threatened at this time in the immediate fire area. But if the fire were to continue, there could be plenty of structures threatened. The Mount Shasta what? Don't know. Don't know anything about the Mount Shasta streamers. Probably. Pleasant Valley Road is a familiar road here in Nevada County. It winds through quite a bit of the county, and this is the section from Bridgeport up towards North San Juan through Sweetland area. Yeah, are the CL-415s flying? Not yet, not on this fire. Again, this is the kind of fire in this sort of timber where retardant is more effective than just plain water. They could start dipping here out of Bullard's Bar Reservoir right next to this fire, or these apparently two fires now. I think we got another one over here in the Penn Valley, or in the just north of Collins Lake area. Are they holding what there? Are they holding the fire there? Let's say again the question about holding. Curtis? Yeah, are they holding the fire, or are they holding the tankers? It looks like the tankers are loaded and returning, and it looks like they're kind of holding the head of this fire here. Listening to the scanner, it did sound like there was some spotting beyond a dozer line, but I'm becoming aware of it right now, just looking at the flight tracking here, and I think Tanker 88 is going to head over to it. Apparently there's another fire now just north of Collins Lake. Would that be in Butte County, I believe? Okay, good. Oh. What exactly is... Yeah, it's the timber and grass is what we're seeing burn up here. So far, no other structures other than the one that started this fire. What about the aircraft on the ADSB? Yeah, you probably could. It's just as easy for me just to see all the aircraft instead of trying to isolate them. And they're sending both tankers to the new fire now. Okay, so they must be fairly happy with the progress they've made on the Rice's fire and the River Canyon, the fire that's closest to us. And now they're mounting an initial attack on this second fire to try to keep the new fire small.
Is there a chance of it jumping the river?
Well, there's always a chance of that, yeah. But Right now it's up on this ridge, up out of the river, and they're going to try and keep it up on this ridge is what they're going to attempt to do right now. Yes, they have plenty of ground crews on this fire at this time. And at last count, it was 100 personnel. Let's see, 260 acres and 100 personnel. Only one structure. Let's go for a refresh on that, see if anything's changed. Again, this is Ubinet. Strongly recommend supporting Ubinet for their efforts here. The Willow Fire is what they're calling the second fire north of Collins Lake. Now, what we could try and do... Nope, the Willow Fire is a second fire. So what they'll do for rallying points, if you watch the briefing, the sandbox exercise, they'll take a 7-mile ring around the fire and they'll have you orbit just outside that 7-mile ring until you get in radio contact and permission. Then you can come on inside of the 7-mile ring and do your work in the fire area. Okay, is that the Willow Fire? We're getting. I think that's you're referencing the new fire north of Collins Lake. Let's try this. Let's go to. Alert. All right. Thanks for the donation. Let's go home alertwildfire.org. So this is how you work the Alert Wildfire camera system. We're in this area here, so you click on that, you say Greater Tahoe region. This will bring up the map. And now you need to find the map, the camera that shows what you're looking for. Here's Grass Valley. Let's see what this camera shows here.
Got 2 tankers in orbit. Looks like you're starting to get
Listen.
a handle on it. Just a little bit between the highway on the northwest side going up towards the road.
Okay, I think this is the Willow Fire here on the Jacob's Ladder fire camera. And they
Drop on that side of the Willow Glen. That would be helpful just to slow it down.
hear that? So they got 2 tankers.
Drop from the driveway going up towards the house on the ridge and bringing it back towards the...
Can you guys hear that radio chatter okay? Bring it up a little bit. So that's the ground IC, the ground commander talking to the tankers.
I got it. So if I'm on the same page, you're talking about the west side of the road. Yeah, from west side of the road, there's a driveway going up to a really nice house up on top of the road.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go.
What? West side of the road. Now there is a lot of structures in this area, and this area has burned recently too. Now this has got potential to get some structures.
Grass Valley with a move up.
This is the new Willow Fire, just north of Collins Lake. You could just see a piece of Collins Lake here. They've got 2 air tankers on it, and the radio chatter said it sounded like they were going to be able to contain it. So now we got the 2 wildfires going on simultaneously.
77 engine, 77 cover station 10. Station 10 engine.
That's correct. The radio chatter is from Broadcastify over here. It's the Nevada County Public Safety West channel.
Advise one en route, 1717.
Okay, there. Now that's back to the Rice's fire on the Bar Ranch camera, estimated 350 acres, and this is the Willow Fire, estimated at an acre or so. And there's your 2 initial attack air tankers. Our 2 tankers from Grass Valley, Tanker 88 and Tanker 89. Let's take a quick look at the airport here. Oh, I wish this would update quicker.
5350 Garden Bar Road.
Okay, they're all the air tankers are out and busy. Back to the flight radar 24. There's your Tanker 88 and 89. Hotel Sierra is now your acting air attack as air attack 230 is timed out for fuel. And this is a looks like a Rockwell Commander contract ship. And you can see he's been working between the two fires. And we got Air Attack 505 babysitting the Rice fire now. And he's, of course, lead plane capable. Now, who's this? This isn't anybody involved with the fire. Oh, look at this. Another air tanker. We got Ericsson's Mad Dog coming in to the Rice fire. They're very close to each other. And let's pull up another map here. Get these distances. Everybody's asking about good questions about these distances. So Grass Valley to South Yuba Park, measure distance. It's 9 miles away from Grass Valley, about the same 9 or 10 miles away from Nevada City and us. And this other fire is located right up over here, about 8 miles apart. Willow Glen Road, thus they call it the Willow Fire, right off the Marysville Road. Oh, we got a donation? Well, thank you. Thanks for the donation. Oh, hey, good question. I want to thank our airport manager, Kevin, for getting the funding and making it happen, putting the camera up. And I think one of our local businesses was instrumental in actually mounting the camera up on the airport and getting us these great views now from Nevada County Airport. I see there's a volume on here too. I hope in the future we'll be able to get audio as well, because in the event of a mishap, the audio is very important to be able to hear. Distance from headquarters, we're just a couple of miles outside of Nevada City, so we're probably talking 12 miles or so from Blanco Lirio Global Headquarters on this fire. We're located right up over here, just a little bit north and east of the airport. And this Rice's fire is located down here, and it's going uphill, upstream, downwind that direction. Okay, let's go back to the Rice fire and see if we can see the Ericsson Mad Dog in for a drop here.
Grass Valley, strike team 3225 Charlie.
$10? Wow, thanks, Michael. Wow. Thank you. And thanks so much for everybody's support on Patreon. That's what really makes this content possible, because you never know with YouTube when they're going to pull the plug on you, or when I'm going to put something out there that somebody's going to claim a copyright claim to, and kablamo, there goes any ad revenue. That's the Ericsson Mad Dog right down there. Well, thanks. Another $5 donation. No, these these are this fire, the Rice's fire, is a structure fire. Started out as a structure fire. Okay, look at that. We got a tanker right here, and I think this was his drop. So again, they're still working pretty much the head and a little bit of this right flank, what would be the right shoulder of this fire, right down in here. Those trucks you see on the ramp at the airport are fuel trucks, and a lot of those fuel trucks are for the helicopter operators, and then you'll see our airport fuel truck as well. And that's how we refuel the fixed wing air tankers at Nevada County, is with a truck that we got to drive back and forth. And we keep our guys on staff all day long.
1825-1925.
How did I spot the Mad Dog in that picture there? Because of Flight Radar 24 was the giveaway here. That right here, and from that I can kind of pick out that silhouette, and I got these new better glasses also.
25, 1125, northbound,
Okay, if you're just joining us, we're talking. Doing a live feed on the Rice's Fire in Nevada County, California, in the South Yuba River, about 10 miles to the north and west of the Grass Valley, Nevada City area. So far, only one structure involved. 350 acres was the latest estimate on this fire, and we're also following a new fire broke out. A very small one, but very near a lot of houses here, just north of Collins Lake, and in the Willow. What do they call that road? Willow Glen Road. Well, thanks. Who's a big what? Big Guy Simple Productions. Thanks for. Yeah. Hey Todd, how you doing? Wow, thanks Todd. That's crazy. You got to spend your whole paycheck over here. Todd Citron, big time Blanco Lirio supporter. Say again. The wind is only about 8 knots out of the west, so we do not have a strong wind-driven fire here. So I am very hopeful that they will be able to get these knocked out this evening. And if things calm down enough, I'd like to get up in the Husky and take a look from the air and see how the air attack went once the air show is over and the smoke clears over these fires, and we can take a look at those retardant lines and get a clearer picture of exactly how this air attack proceeded, much like we did on the other fire here recently. So far, there's no. Let's see. There's no TFR. There's no TFR on these fires yet at this time. But that doesn't mean anybody can go bombing in there. They still got their 7-mile ring around each of these fires that they're keeping people out. Oh, there goes another retardant drop right there. They're really hitting this hard. Yeah, I just got back from London yesterday, so I did 2 London trips here these last 2 weekends. Wow, thanks for the donations. Let me see that, Jan. Let me see if I can see some of that. Tahoe Realm, EFO, thanks. Todd Citron, Big Guy Simple Productions, Lot Burns, the 4 foot. Thanks, you guys. Hey, Michael Flynn. Wow. Rank 1. This will be my new job here. We got so much great technology here. It's a lot easier to do this kind of work now. Tanker 3 just got a great shot of the Erickson tanker dropping. Okay, so Live Copter 3 is on the scene. I had a chance to talk with Dan, the pilot of Live Copter 3, and I told him I could do this for him, but only if I can post it on the Blanco Lirio channel. We could go over there and take a look and see what KCRA is doing. I just don't want to get in a copyright fight with KCRA when we got these wildfire cameras doing just about the same thing for us. What's the Chinook flying in from the northwest going to do? Well, probably be water dropping. New Zealand, wow. TFR, temporary flight restriction, yeah. I haven't seen any TFRs up yet. All right. It's fair use. What would that be? Would KCRA be fair use? I don't know. It's their stuff.
American Ram.
Oh, I don't need to hear that guy. Let's go. Let's see. Let's go here. Let's go here.
Is that Vince Bloom, the all-American big guy?
It is.
How do I turn Vince off here? There you go. Maybe after Vince plays, there might be some sort of a feed there.
Is that Vince Bloom, the...
You can't get away from Vince Bloom. Okay, can I skip the ad? Okay, live feed. All right, so there's KCRA Live. Now, I don't know how much of this I can really show you. Let me get me out of the way there. No, I gotta keep rolling with this. So, yeah, Bridgeport, Nevada County. The other problem with the KCRA is, I told Dan, if if I were to help you to doing this, I would need to run the camera too, or be able to have a good rapport with the camera guy, because just showing this tells us nothing. It tells us nothing to advance the story. They're just showing flames to show flames. Now that's, at least that's something a little more useful that they're showing there on KCRA. They're showing the mandatory evacuations area. But now how do I get out of here? Picture in picture, there we go. So KCRA 3 is basically not much of a help. You can get a lot better, wider view of what's going on if you stick with a wider angle view of the situation.
That's affirmative. They're all here.
All right. Now I hear another tanker flying overhead. Let's see.
And just confirming my dozer is 2041.
You can hear him talking to the dozer operators. Tanker 9-3 just flew over the global headquarters in a left downwind for runway 7. Thanks, HD71. Yeah, black smoke. Did you see black smoke on that last one? Yeah, what's going on there? A little bit of black smoke now. Buy your own news chopper. Who needs a news chopper now when you got all this technology? That's what they're missing the boat on. And to tell you the truth, KCRA doesn't have their own news chopper anymore. They are all leasing their helicopters now. It's much cheaper to lease helicopters than to own the darn things for the news organizations. Alta Sierra checking in. Thanks.
Call taker gave it to me as PFE on Antelope Road. That's also
Listening in on the radio there, see if anything new's happening. So again, if you're just now joining us, we're watching two wildfires here in the Nevada County area. We've got the Rice's fire, last estimated at 350 acres here in the Yuba River area. And the Willow Fire, which I think they've got that taken care of. They made a small fire, initial attack, got two local S2s on it, and kept it down to a quarter acre or so, because that fire was right in the middle of a bunch of houses. Now, I don't know what aircraft that is, if that's part of the firefight or not. Delta Airlines just flew over and got a good view of the air show. He's probably going on into, all the way to San Francisco from Salt Lake City. Tanker 88, Tanker 89, Tanker 93, those are all our S2s and the air attacks. So that, we'll stick with this a little bit longer here. But I'm hoping they're going to keep this contained somewhere in this footprint of 350 to 400 acres or so and get it knocked out this evening. Tanker 914, Joe says, Tanker 914 is taking off from McClellan with the Colson C-130 right behind. So they're a load and return on the heavy air tankers again? All right, they're going to keep at it. Wow. Active Marine Infantry here. Thanks, Gavin. We need boots on the ground. That's what they're doing. Oh, they're getting some more fire activity across that head. That's not good. I don't think it's holding as good as they were hoping for right there at the head of the fire on that Rice's fire. Even leasing is very expensive, right? It's DSM Reloader. Yeah, it's drones are the way to go for smaller stations. Yep. Inside info, DC-10 assigned and another being brought in from Arizona. All right, fire season is kicking off here in Northern California. Yeah, CAL FIRE is still using the OV-10s. That's correct. Yep. Okay, Eli, if you're just joining us, we are talking about the Rice's fire here in Nevada County, California on the Yuba River Canyon area near North San Juan, 10 or 12 miles away from the Grass Valley, Nevada City area. Last call at 350 acres. Bombing it from high altitude does you no good. You need precision. We're talking extremely precise, low altitude bombing, if you will, of these fires. The whole idea of retardant dropping, the aerial use of retardant, is to coat the vegetation to slow or retard the spread of the fire. So in order to do that, you need to drop at 150 feet above the vegetation and 120 knots or so, or miles per hour, of forward speed, so that at 150 feet, after 150 feet, that retardant is just raining down gently on the vegetation, coating it and spreading it and giving the ground pounders a chance to dig a proper line around the fire. And you got to work from tree stump to rock outcropping to individual bushes. We're talking tactical use of air power on a very small scale, and that's why the retardant is pink, so that you can see where the previous retardant line stopped and started and fill any holes that there might be, any gaps that there might be in the retardant line. And the whole idea is just the retardant does not put out the fire. It only retards the spread of the fire. It's the guys on the ground that put out the fire with dozer lines, chainsaws, hard, extremely hard manual labor, digging into the dirt to remove the fuel, get down to bare soil, or wrap that around the fire. Okay, how much precip have we had out here this spring? I don't know the numbers, but we had quite a few inches of rain in the Blanco Lirio calibrated rain gauge after a very, very dry January and February. Tanker 914 coming.
181, 1734.
They're not stopping that today. I bet you they will. It looks pretty impressive right now, but, well, here it is. It's 5:30 in the afternoon now. That'll be a good bet. What's going to be the wager, guys? Are we going to get this 350-acre fire stopped today, or is it going to go into tomorrow?
1734.
How wide does that bare ground part have to be? Well, that depends on the conditions, the wind, and the vegetation, and everything else. I mean, if you could get a couple dozer lines wide, that would be great, but how much equipment do you have? It could be as thin as a single-track trail or as wide as 2 dozer blades. Tanker 944 up? Not that I know of. Let's see. Yeah, Chris has the answer there for you on those dozer lines, or on those containment lines. Let's go back to Flight Radar 24. Tanker 914 coming back for more action. That's the DC-10 out of McClellan. Here comes Tanker 132. The Colson C-130 is coming back. So these guys end up coming in surges, and it's a little bit of a handful for Air Attack 505, our lead plane, who sits there and waits for somebody to hurry up and get there, and then all of a sudden they all show up at once. And so then he's got to sort out where he's going to use each of these air tankers to effectively help him fight this fire. So let's watch this closely and see where he employs these tankers these heavy air tankers over the next couple of minutes. Are they going to continue to hit the head of the fire right up here, this right shoulder, or are they going to try to work the whole flank around yet? This head is not holding as well as I'd hoped for, and that smoke has turned pretty dark. Yeah, lots of timber. It is a lot of there's a good view of the timber. See that? It's digger pine. That is very active flame. Wow. Good shot of the head of the fire. There's some retardant on the left. There's one of the helicopters. The helicopters are great for putting out hot spots. They'll do the water drops. They'll continue to run down to the river, get water, bring them up here. Here's his Bambi bucket, and he'll throw it on a hot spot and try to knock some of that heat out of that fire. And it's still just barely manageable. In another month or so, these flame lengths are going to be 300 feet tall, and there'll be absolutely nothing these guys can do about it. But right now, with these flame lengths, they're just on the edge of manageability with some close-in direct attack by these helicopters by directly dropping water onto these various hot spots. And I don't see any retardant up in here. I bet you they're going to start trying to get some retardant in across the head of this fire because they've got great visibility right there. There's a great opportunity to, they'll do a left base entry and get some retardant in here into this timber, or at least figure out somewhere back from this timber to make a stand, make a line, draw a line, and try to make a stand to stop this fire. Or are they just going to try and directly attack it and just try to knock the steam out of the head of that fire right there? Be very interesting to see. Tahoe, thanks. Eucalyptus. Fire breaks are barely useful. Yeah. Yeah, Lake Mead is very, very low. I see in AirTech we're talking about concentrating on the right flank. Okay, good. Thanks for listening up on the radio. It's hard for me to listen up and talk at the same time. C-130 F-35 collision. That was quite a while ago, wasn't it? I think we'll have to get the final report on that. That would be an interesting final report. Yeah, those digger pines are high octane fuel, and apparently you can't call them that anymore. I don't know what they've changed the name to those trees to, but that's, you can no longer call them that out of political correctness. Yep, winds are still at 8, and they're going to be calming down as the afternoon wears on. Colson 737 and Neptune's Tanker 15 are leaving McClellan now. Looks like Erickson is loading. Yep, okay, so let's go back to Flight Radar 24 now. There we go.
I'll get a PCS for you, but probably 3 to 4 acres.
Okay, so here's how the rejoin's going to work here. Here's the lead plane, or Attack 505. It would be cool if we could pick up that frequency and listen to these guys. But see, 505 is saying, fall in behind me. What's he at? 3,200 feet. Tanker 914. He's at 3,300 feet. He's right behind, he should be about a quarter to a half a mile behind the lead plane. What's that lead plane speed right now? It should be close to 150 to slowing to 120 knots for the... Where's the speed on this thing? 172 knots now. Okay. They'll be slowing down for the drop. Now, I'm not sure what the drop speed is for a big old DC-10. It might be closer to 150 knots. So they're coming in at 200 knots on the
left shoulder with fixed wing rotors due to the smoke. So the left kind of backing down towards the river, highly probable.
Last unit to Grass Valley confirming American River hotshots. On what phone are you talking?
Okay, did you hear that bit of radio chatter?
On the ridge, the best we can.
So the left flank of the fire is backing down to the river. So this fire is up on this ridge. The left flank would be down here on the main fork of the Yuba River. And I think they're going to let it back down gently down to the river and just have the river be the edge of the fire. Get it stopped at the river. Okay, now let's go back to our camera here and see if we can pick up these airplanes. These cameras are a few seconds behind. There's something right there. Now, it would seem to me they'd be dropping this direction. Would be the safe downhill bet. Okay, here's somebody right here. Okay, here he is. A little bit of lag time on these photos here. So this would be your KC-10 from McClellan coming in. And where is he at? I think he's right there in underneath the smoke, between the smoke and the trees, just 150 feet above the vegetation. I think he's going to get some retardant in here across the head of the fire, maybe the right shoulder. And he's out of there. And it's, again, hard to see where that retardant went, but I think it's right in there.
Address is 22800
Interesting.
Pleasant Valley Road.
And now he's
Copy, 2280
he's out of there.
Pleasant Valley Road.
Okay, so let's see where that is in relationship to the map here.
22800.
Tanker 914. All right.
Pleasant Valley Road.
So I think they're working right across here.
Thank you.
Would be the head of the fire. So it's not too far out of the river canyon from the source. It hasn't made it too far. But up in here you can see, oh, there are going to be quite a few structures threatened. Here along Pleasant Valley Road, if it gets up here into French Corral. This would be the French Corral area. The French Corral has that famous historic first telephone line into there. There's a neat old Wells Fargo building right there, a very historic building
Copy, cancel response.
located right there. So I think we're talking about this area right here is what's been burning. These guys are now in another left-hand pattern to swing by and see if they can get some more retardant in. I suspect they're getting it in right about here. To take some of that heat out of the head of the fire. Critter Watcher, thanks. Glad you enjoy the explanation.
1285 responds additional vehicle accident with extrication. Dry Creek Road, Crossing Valley, Quail Lane.
Let's see.
Stand by for check back 1744.
Way better than TV coverage. Thanks. Thanks, Wes. Can tankers be filled and stand by? Oh, yeah. They do that a lot. Load and return or load and stand by is what they do. Okay, here comes tanker, the DC-10 in again. So I think he's dropping half loads, and he keeps trying to get some retardant in here. Here he is on final. It's either the lead plane and that's the tanker, or that's the tanker. It's hard to tell from here. And let's see if he makes another load drop right in here. And there he is right there in front of the black smoke.
1285.
I wish this camera was just a continuous video, but it's not.
Additional AMR unit identified.
AMR 158.
And he's out of there. Is that a helicopter right there? Let's go back to the flight radar. Boom. So the tanker 914 is up and out of there. Okay, I think tanker 914 has made his 2 drop runs. So looking at that track, you can see where he's been working. Those 2 tracks don't line up too good, but I'm thinking this is the area that they're dropping in. I think this is where we're seeing the head of that fire, and you can see just ahead of the head of that fire, there are structures threatened. Now where's he taking 914? Let's see. Let's check his altitude here. 2,700 feet. And these guys should be up a little higher, altitude orbiting and waiting. 3,300 feet, yeah. So they give everybody basically 1,000-foot separation. The helicopters are 500 feet and below, and then above them at 1,500 feet, or 1,000 feet above the helicopters should be the tankers, and then they'll stack them up in higher and higher orbits, 3,400 feet, 3,300 feet. So these guys have each other in sight at the same altitude, and they're just waiting to get in there. Again, as a former lead plane pilot, I can't tell you how busy this is, where you're waiting in frustration as the fire is burning until the tankers arrive. Then all of a sudden they all show up at once, and now you don't have enough time to get them all sorted out, because you can only drop one of these large air tankers at a time as a lead plane, because each large air tanker requires a lead to lead them in on the drop. And once they get in a certain frequency, returning back and forth to base, it's hard to break that up. TK Porsche, thanks. Yeah, you know, I'd love, John Coe, I'd love to fly shotgun too, but better than shotgun is, I wish we could just, can I just get permission to put a GoPro camera in there and then download the footage later on and then, you know, do one of these reviews of how it all went, or better yet, do a live feed from a GoPro that's mounted inside the aircraft.
Upper Rice's Crossing and Pleasant Valley. Do you want us to move to the new location?
Oh yeah, always. Yeah, that's the best air tanker movie ever was. Piece of trivia about that Always movie: we have the actual umbrella that was used in the movie. Remember, it had that painting on it, said "Don't drop here," and there was John Goodman sitting under it, sipping his tea, trying to get his air tanker pilots trained up. We have that umbrella in the hangar next door, right here at Nevada County Airport. A friend of mine has it. Yeah, super tanker. I don't know what the latest story with the super tanker is if anybody's heard on that 747, is it coming back? Is it not coming back? I think it's out of here. Yeah, but does the plane stall out when it's dropping? No, you cannot stall the airplane ever, especially when you're dropping. No, 150 down to 120 knots, you are above your stall speed. You do have flaps out. You're flying very slow. It is precision, dangerous work at 150 feet and blue line airspeed. Basically, you're at your minimum single engine airspeed when you're dropping. And it's got to be very, very precise dropping. So one tanker never follows another tanker? Kitty asks. No, they will, but not the large air tankers. The wake turbulence is just too hazardous. It's too dangerous to try to daisy chain large air tankers, one immediately after another. The S2s can do that. They can daisy chain right behind each other. A C5, make a C5. Man, the C5 was so darn, this is Insulum. The C5 was so unreliable in the Air Force that I couldn't imagine using it in the Forest Service. It's just way too unreliable. C-141 maybe, but we kind of flew the wings off of those things. Yeah, and the Mad Dogs, Curtis, you're right. They are only approved. I think we got another air tanker coming right across the head right now. The Mad Dogs are only approved to drop with the gear down, which is pretty weird. And they were drawing some of that retardant up towards the engines. It's an odd choice for an air tanker, but it's doing a pretty good job. Okay, I think that's the lead plane. Here comes the tanker on the left base for another drop across the head of this fire. Are there retired? Yeah, there's plenty of retired C5s, but yeah, they're junk. I wouldn't mess with C5s. They're just too unreliable and too slow to turn them around. And let's see what this tanker does here. If he gets another drop across the head of the fire. Where'd he go? He's somewhere in there. This camera is facing to the northwest. That's correct. A C-17, possibly, yeah. 740s and 380s, yeah. Because the super tanker was already sold and converted back to cargo. Yeah, that's the story I've heard. The 747 super tanker has left the building and is back into cargo operations. Investors didn't want to continue to fight with the Forest Service. There was some squabbling about the capability of the 747. I don't get all the details right now, but they were kind of limited in what they could do compared to what the KC-10 can do. This camera needs Starlink, yeah. Yeah. Any boots to support the head hunting? We've got over 100 personnel on the ground right now. There are plenty of hot shots on the ground, ripping and tearing on this fire, and dozers ripping and tearing on this fire at this time right now. Yeah, if you're just joining us, we are talking about the Rice's Fire. We're here in Nevada County in the Yuba River drainage area near North San Juan, about 10 or 12 miles away from Grass Valley, Nevada City. Just to our northwest, not very far from here. It started out as a single structure fire and quickly spread into the surrounding vegetation. Winds are fairly light at about 8 knots, so not a really strong wind-driven fire at this time, thank goodness. Last estimate was 350 acres. There was a second fire, the Willow Fire. It looks like it's been capped at a 1/4 acre and stopped just another 8 miles down the road from this fire. A group of ospreys. I don't know, man. That's getting expensive. That would, and the way they stir up the wind, if they could keep moving forward and not stir up too much wind, possibly. But I don't know. A B-1, nah, just too fast. You need aircraft with slow speed qualities. That's why the S2Ts are so good, and that's why the C-130s are so good with their geared turboprop engines. They can really keep 100% RPM, and if you need that extra power, you got it right away. But the KC-10s have been proved. Some of these old airliners have been proving themselves to be very effective air tankers, including the Coulson 737s. Yeah, it is surprising there's this much left to burn, and this is what terrifies me living here where I do. I mean, if you look at the big picture, we've had 1 million acres burned to the north of us. They burned everything to the north of us. They burned a lot of it to the south of us with the Caldor fire. Now we've just got this big strip of green where I live here in Nevada County. What you're looking at in this camera view here that is left yet to burn, and it's gonna get hammered. Let's look at the evacuation map and see if that's changed here. We're still looking at mandatory evacuations right here in the French Corral, Birchville area, and then stopping at Highway 49. So let's see who's on first here. We got Tanker 88. Is he chasing the lead plane? Tanker 88 and Tanker 89. Look at that. Look how maneuverable those S2Ts are. Let's see. They are at 3,100 now. And he's at 2,700. So the S2Ts, of course, are initial attack qualified. They do not need a lead plane to go do their drops. They can go do their own thing. And it looks like that might be them right there. And another aircraft right there. Tanker 15, 10 minutes out. The Martin Mars. Yeah, that was an expensive one. If the 4-fan trash can. We called it, Todd, we called the C-130 the 4 fans of freedom out of respect for us C-130 trash haulers. Yeah, in the old days it was B-17s, A-26s. It was World War II all over again back in the old days. Tanker 912 is heading out to California from Phoenix. It's over Lake Havasu now. Good. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for the update. Yeah, and the P3s and P2Vs were great air tankers too. The P3, same engines as the C-130. Excellent tanker choices. Caribous, yeah, too load restricted. We used to have C-119 box cars. Remember those? And wings kept falling off of those things. If I hit F11 in your browser, it will put you to full screen. Are you sure, or is it going to blow the whole... Is that going to blow the whole thing up here? Josh, I'm going to hit this F11 button here, and if it blows up the whole live feed, we can blame it on Josh. 1, 2, 3, go. Well, that's cool, but now I need to get my controls back. So where's my controls? Where's all my control buttons? See, I need to be able to look up here to see my where I'm going next. Boom.
Grass Valley, strike team leader, 9210 Charlie in unit.
That's right. Airdrop your mouse over the like button. Thanks, guys. So if you're just joining us, we are covering the Rice Fire live here in Nevada County. A 350-acre wildfire started out as a structure fire, took off into the brush here in the Yuba River area. And
just confirming attack and command frequencies.
We're hoping we get this knocked out tonight. It's approaching 6 p.m. local time here. Winds are still fairly light out of the west at about 8 knots. But the air tankers are continuing to load and return. And here comes Tanker 15 back, the Neptune air tanker. Can somebody look up and see how many gallons of retardant I should know this. How many gallons the BAE 146 can carry? Is it a 2,000 gallon tanker, 2,500 or so? And he's going to fall in line or right behind lead 505 here. Poor lead 505 doing nothing but left-hand turns all day long in the smoke. Let's see. Yeah, see, look at it. You see that rejoin? You see that? You just fall. You can kind of do an ADS-B intercept looking at your foreflight and looking at each other's pattern, and then they just fell in right behind each other, and they're going to go in with the quarter-mile spacing and do some more drops, I assume, across the head of this fire. The head of this fire is located somewhere right over here right now. Great rejoin. They're both clipping along now, 142 knots. That's good.
42.9, I copy.
And this is our camera ship over here. Oh, no, that's the other air attack. I'm sorry, that's...
You just notate the one resident on Miser off of Rita Ranch is
he's got the air attack officer in that aircraft that's got the big picture of the battle and is coordinating with everybody, ground troops, helicopters, air show, whereas the lead plane is just coordinating with these heavy air tankers and the air attack and leading the heavy air tankers in on the drop. There's your camera ship right there. Oh. Listen up. Let's see. I think we're picking up some of the chatter from the pilots. They screwed up the camera here again. Again, they want to make their drops downhill, so they're flying basically uphill or upstream right now, so they're going to need to turn themselves around and get moving downhill to make their drop. There's a way to switch that over to terrain. I don't know if there is. Let's see if the camera got back. Okay, got back in focus there. Truca, thanks so much.
Grass Valley, engine 21.
BA 3,000 gallons. Thanks, John. Excellent. 3,000 gallons.
9210 Charlie.
Cloud splitter. Twin Commander. Yeah, that would be one of the air attack ships.
210 Charlie, repeat identifier.
2169.
Yeah, this is a one-man operator. I don't even have Pete here to show me how to. Julianne's been helping out. Got us going on the feedback here. Got to have the. See, control 1, left tab, control 2. I wouldn't know which tab is which. I got to look at the picture. I've got 6,000 tabs up here. I got to be able to see them. I'm old school. I don't know how those fancy keyboard shortcuts. Air tactic should be on air tac 4. Yeah, I do have a scanner radio. I don't know if it'll receive from all the way out here though.
946.
Well, no live. The force fighters, they don't mess with cameras on the ground much. And besides, there's no signal out there on the ground anywhere. Somebody was asking if there's no live feed from the firefighters on the ground. It'd be cool to get the live feed from the aircraft.
Grass Valley, Banner Mountain out of service, KMB 241.
Okay, Kyle's got all the numbers here. BAE MD-80 and the RJ are all 3,000. The C-130's 4,000. The 737 5,000. The DC-10 9,000. I got to memorize those numbers. Scott Manley.
Engine 100 clear. AMR.
How did this fire start? It was a structure fire.
About 10 ago. We did not catch the destination.
5 copy.
Yeah, watch it up on ForeFlight. You can watch it live. Yeah, pretty nice mounting on that bracket there. Okay, we got them coming in on a drop here. I see a couple aircraft right here and here. And now where'd they go in this next clip? They should be dropping right in here, or maybe they're working down on that left flank now. But I think the plan of attack is to let that left flank just slowly back down towards the river. So there's not a lot of urgency to get a lot of retardant on that left flank if they're just going to let it back down into the river.
I'll stand here.
Okay, here's somebody popping out of the other end now. One of the larger air tankers, I believe. Back on the flight radar. Where'd we leave off with? 505. Who we got here? Is this the Erickson? All right, the Erickson Mad Dog. He's coming in to rejoin now with the Air Attack 505, or the lead plane. Which tanker did we just drop? Oh, that's right. It was tanker 15. That's it. Okay. Well, this is interesting. Maybe he's bugging out. He might be, lead 505 might be out for fuel right now.
Can you hear the cover engine there in Downeyville?
Will,
if you could raise them and perhaps
will
move
this
them
aircraft
to
be able to
Campbellville
take over?
Station,
No.
for the hard coverage. Logistically for the
Will he be able to take over his lead? The thing with
efficiently. There's power out throughout from Downeyville all through North San Juan, Nevada City.
Now the power's out. Great. Typical California summer. Can't keep the power on either around here. Turn these guys down a little bit. The challenge with lead planes is finding a qualified and current lead plane pilot. Having more than one lead plane pilot, especially on a fire of only 350 acres, it would be real surprising if this guy's able to do leads.
With 1 to Auburn State, all fire units available.
White Ford Mustang with no front plate and back plate out of Georgia.
293 Echo Alpha. Well, that's the Erickson Mad Dog. He's going to be doing a drop here. Let's see if we can catch him on the... Now, I believe... There he is. Look at that. There's the old Mad Dog. See a gear down? Now, I think Erickson, he is initial attack qualified large air tanker, which is a kind of a rare combination. Usually these large air tankers all require a lead, but I think, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, if Erickson is initial attack qualified, which means he can go in here and do his own drop on his own without a lead plane, because I believe lead 505 is timed out for fuel. And there he goes in across the head of the fire and possibly the left shoulder. Let's sneak a peek over at KCRA. Oh, no, I have to pull up the... I have to suffer through a bunch of commercials.
Go ahead.
Grass Valley, Willow, I see.
Yeah, it looks like they're out of business over there on KCRA. Anyways, if you're just joining us, we've been covering live coverage of the Rice Fire.
Is that Vince Bloom, the All-American
in
big
Nevada
guy?
County.
It is, with deals on All-American Ram truck.
Big deals?
11,000.
Only some breaking news and the worst of what some of these... This is a home that we saw that was not on fire about an hour ago, and now you can see it is engulfed in flames.
Wow,
this is
so
going to
they
be a
have lost
total
some
loss
structures.
after this 350-acre wildfire is burning in Nevada County. We do have a reporter, Orko Manna, who just arrived. He is not near the home, but he is near...
we got to let... I don't want to get into a copyright problem with KCRA, but apparently there is some structures involved now with this fire, the Rice Fire here in Nevada County. So run over to KCRA and see if you can get an update on what's going on from them. And I'll go over to here to Ubinet and see if this has been updated. Still just showing the one structure destroyed, unless they were confusing that with the structure that initially started this fire.
Grass Valley copies.
All Sam 1.
Back to here, see if we can pick up the Erickson Mad Dog, if he's going to make another drop on it. Or did he make his drop and is he out of here? He's moving pretty fast. And
Grass Valley, Wolf Mountain out of service.
I think he is out of there. All right, so we're going to probably wrap this up pretty soon here. By now, the local news agencies ought to be able to pick up on this story. They finally got some reporters on the scene there. If needed to evacuate, Johnny writes, what do you do? Get some go bags and grab the 310. Yeah, that's the ultimate bug out, is getting 310 and go. And we were on the verge of doing that during that bear fire. Right now, I'm going to get the Charger on the Blanco Lirio mobile command post, get it up, ready, and parked in the backyard for a quick bug out wagon with plenty of food and water for plenty of days of camping out away from the area in the event of a wildfire. Tahoe 22, a 135R is close. Yeah, that's the other kind of tankers. The military tankers, refueling tankers. Yeah, this is live going on right now.
Just get his location, make sure he's code 4.
Yeah, Downeyville, don't know what's going on up there.
Nevada County, what's your
We're code 4.
Go Mad Dog, good. 850 likes, thanks guys. Chinook coming from Napa, Todd. Yeah, okay, let's see. MD heading back, PE20. Cool chance. Are you in for another round? Good Lord. Dropping the coin. Don't. Man, thanks. Don't spend your whole paycheck here, man. You forced me to upgrade to get some better equipment. So that is Scott Manley himself. Are you here? That's amazing. It's easily visible on the weather satellites. Cool. All right. This fire right here now. Zoom Earth is what I like to use for the most real-time satellite data there is. Jason, you just got here. Well, there's probably an hour's worth of stuff. We've been covering this Rice's fire here in Nevada County, a 350-acre fire with unprecedented historic initial attack use of heavy air tankers on this fire, hoping to keep it around 350 acres, but it looks like it's getting some houses. Yeah, we can load up the fuel tank tonight and get an airborne update. Yeah, no, that's the other guys are copying my lead on those 310s. Just the one dwelling so far. Okay, good. No, that radio that you're hearing is the is this one, Broadcastify, Nevada County Public Safety West, and it's a bunch of different frequencies all merging together to give you the background radio chatter. All right. Well, this has been a lot of fun getting this together. It's only through all this new technology that I'm able to pull this off from the comfort of the Blanco Lirio's supercomputer and the air-conditioned comfort of home. Wow, look at that smoke plume. That's heading all the way up towards Downeyville, that smoke plume. The use of these wildfire alert cameras, what's it called? alertwildfire.org. That's the series of cameras throughout Northern California now. And Flight Radar 24 showing us all the tanker activity. Tanker 88 back for another. We've got Zone Haven evacuation maps available, should be available from your local county department. The counties are getting much better at getting this information out much quicker to people that need to know. But again, don't over rely on the technology, because the first thing to go out is going to be your cell phone signal and all this technology. Broadcastify to bring you the radio chatter. Yeah, that's our guy Kevin Edwards, the airport manager at Nevada County Airport, who brought us these great new cameras here at Nevada County Airport, east and west view. AirAttack 230, he might be down for maintenance. They have not refueled and sent him back to the fire yet today. I don't think he's timed out yet for time. And then, of course, you can go Ubinet, a great local resource for all your fire information right here. See if they've got an update on that. And then there's KCRA 3 Reports, our local news channel with their Live Copter 3. They should have some story now on the fire itself. And I still bet this is going to be knocked out tonight. We'll give you an update in the morning, or I'll post an update in the comment section on this live feed. Maybe get a chance to go up and take a look at it in the Husky and see how this fire went, and give you a view from overhead above. Thanks so much for your support of this channel, especially everybody over there on Patreon that makes this content possible. Thanks so much for all your donations today for the live feed. It's been very generous. I'm very impressed with your support of this channel, even though I struggle to get some of this technology to work for us. And Moxie, you are out of here. You are not allowed in here. YouTube, you've got to do a better job of getting these kind of people off my channel.
We'll be looking for them 3,500 3014.
Thanks so much for your support. We'll see you here. You've been watching coverage of the Rice Fire here at Nevada County. Live coverage using the Alert Wildfire cameras. See you here. I gotta go eat.